Okay, this video is going to be about dual rates, why they're nice and why you use them, and how to set them up on the DX7 radio. First off, dual rates and exponential go together. Okay, a dual rate is in fact more rates than dual. If you want, you can have 3 rates. I usually have 3 rates. And the rate is the percentage of the maximum throw of the control surface, whether it's rudder, elevator, or ailerons. Whatever the maximum deflection of that control surface is 100%. But sometimes you want to have the radio limit for you what the total movement of a stick will be if you pull it back. So if I'm going to have a dual rate on the elevator, say, if I pull the elevator stick all the way back, then on 100, so if I have a dual rate that is 100%, then you get 100% throw when you pull it all the way back. If I want to limit that to say 70%, then pull the stick all the way back and you only get 70% of that throw. So you can have up to 5 different rates in this radio. I only use 3, low, medium, and high. And so I like low rates to be about 70%, mid rates to be about 85%, and high rates to be 100%. And that's why I use low, medium, and high. Then after the first flight, I'll figure out whether 70% is good or bad, and then the 85 mid rate is good or bad. The 100% usually stays as my high rate. So that's an explanation of dual rates. How do you set them up? Well, first off, you have to pick a switch where you want the dual rates to be set up. And I like this switch B here. It's very handy, easy to get to. This is my flight mode or dual rate switch. So this switch will be called a flight mode. And so the flight mode will be low rates, medium rates, or high rates. Low, medium, high. And so that's going to be the switch that I change to get low, medium, and high rates. So let me show you on the radio how that's done. Be right back. Okay, flight mode setup we haven't set up yet, so I'm going to use switch. Flight mode switch is not inhibit. I'm going to use switch B. Switch B is right here. Okay, and notice that after you click here and you flip the switch, you get the switch. So you don't have to find the switch in the list. Just flip the switch and it comes up. Okay, so that enables 3 flight modes, and that's what we need. So we want switch B to be the flight modes. That's going to be the low, medium, and high rates for our dual rates. That's flight mode. Spoken flight mode, we don't want flight mode 1, 2, or 3. We want it to say here we go, low, here's it O, and you can hit the clear button twice to clear out everything else. And low rates. Okay, that's what we want it to say. And for low rates, we want it to speak low rates. So we'll scroll down here and find low rates. Okay, and you can test that. Low rates. Okay, and now to do the others, you flip the switch, the B switch, and you get mode 2 and mode 3, and that's going to say mid rates and high rates. And I'm going to stop the camera here and let you figure it out while I do it. Okay, so I've got low rates, mid rates, and high rates, 3 rates, and that's all I want for now. Warnings. So okay, so For the flight modes, I'll take off in flight mode 1 or 2, but I don't want to take off on high rate, so I want it to give me a warning. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning here. So that was everything in the system setup. Now we'll go into the function setup. So you've seen servo setup before, where we set up the travel and the reversal switches. So DR and Expo, now that we have our mode switch, I'm going to set up some dual rates here and some exponential. So the first thing to do is turn the switch instead of on to the B switch.
Mid rates, low rates.
So that's low rates for aileron, and just by experience I'm going to set that at 70% for low rates with an Expo of 20, and this is just a starting position. So aileron mid rates, I'm going to set it at 85% with an Expo of 20. And then the high rates are 100% with an Expo of 20. Now just to make sure you understand what all these percentages are, that's the percentage of the throw. So high rates, the aileron's going to go 100% as much as it can. In mid rates, the aileron is only going to go 85% of that maximum throw. And low rates also going to go 70%. So that's aileron. I'm going to repeat that for the elevator. Turn the switch to B, go to low rates and set that for 70. Now in the maiden flight we're going to adjust this, but this is the starting position. Mid rates 85 with a 20% expo. High rates 100% with the 20% expo. Okay, that's elevator. Guess what? Rudder's going to be the same way. Turn the switch on B. 70. 20% expo. 85. 20% expo. Notice it's a plus 20%, not a negative. High rates, 100%, 20% expo. Okay, so that's dual rates. Okay, so now you've seen me dial in my low, medium, and high rates, and you saw me put in 20% expo, but what is expo? Okay, let me explain. Okay, so expo is short for exponential, and if you look carefully at the screen here, over here on this side here, you have an exponential curve. Okay, and so I'm going to change that curve. This is the one for the elevator, and I'm at low rates. So currently it's at 20%. Now watch what happens, okay, as I increase that. Okay, the exponential gets larger, and so you can see that the center is the center of the stick for the for this. I'll move the elevator a little bit here, okay, and it'll go back and forth, and so in the center, you move the stick, you don't get very much, okay? And as you get out to the edge, you get to the maximum, and the maximum in this case is 70%. Okay, so let me go back to 20%. Make sure you understand what's going on. So at 20%, remember the end point, the bottom and the top down there, in the exponential curve never changes. The only thing that changes the end point is when I flip the low, medium, and high rates. Okay? But if I move the stick, the exponential says, okay, when you move the stick near the center, it doesn't move as much as when you move it near the edges. Okay? So the purpose of Expo is when you're in the center and you just need a little bit of movement, 20%, maybe 30% Expo gives you a little bit of movement, and it gives you the chance to move that stick a little bit in the center. But if you need to move the thing all the way, you got all the way. So it's a two-edged sword. The steeper that exponential is, the quicker it moves. So if you have to move to 50% of the throw, so you move the stick over or move it down 50% instead of 100%, and that's what you need, like to land, that if you have a lot of Expo, that gets a little tough to find that right spot. The more Expo, the harder it is to find. Now, exponential, higher Expos, I find better when you're doing 3D, acrobatics, that kind of stuff. A little more Expo can help, and so you can actually set, because there's 5 flight modes on this thing, you can actually set up a flight mode just for Expo, just for with high Expo, just for 3D flying or acrobatic flying. I don't need this. This is a trainer. You don't need that. In some future, I'll show you how that works. But just to show you that Expo is good for even trainers, the 20%, I'll say to a maximum of 30% in my estimation, works the best for the 3 servos. Ailerons, elevator, rudder. 3 control surfaces. So that's what Expo's about. It's a personal choice. You have to feel it and figure out, does it help you? I learned to fly initially without Expo, okay? My instructor said, don't use Expo when you're learning, okay? Use Expo later. And, you know, I'll show you, okay? What happens when you don't have Expo, okay? There's 0 Expo. Look at the line. It's a straight line, okay? So that straight line works just fine. You know, the percentage of movement of the stick equals the percentage of movement of the control surface. That's all right, but I think a 20% is a great place for a student to start. And I'll recommend 30 sometimes, depending upon the student. So that's all you need. And that's my explanation for Expo. Hope that helps. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.